The infamous Create Mod just came to Minecraft Bedrock and it's actually insane. Here's everything you need to know in one video. To begin with, we have conductors, appliances, tools and equipment, materials, generators, and so much more. I'm gonna start off by showing the tools and equipment. We have the engineer's goggles and the wrench. We're just going to put them on here. So the goggles allow you to see information. You can see here it shows us the RPM. Since these are off, it doesn't have any. The 16 RPM, so that is its rotation speed. So SU is the energy generated. We're going to get to that later. So the next tool is the wrench, but I'm not sure how to use it. In Java, it rotates blocks and moves them about, but here it doesn't do anything. The next most important thing is the generators. So we have a couple over here. These are how we're going to be creating energy. Just to let you guys know, everything here is craftable in survival mode. Alright guys, so our first generator is the hand crank. You kind of just place it and start to move all these objects. And keep in mind, it's actually draining my hunger pretty fast. The next one we have is the water wheel. Just place water and then put the water wheel. It's generating energy. You can see 256 SU. We also have a large water wheel. Alright guys, there we go. We freed up some space and this generates double the power. So what we do with the energy created is just power up our machines and other things. So the furnace engine, if we place it right here, put the furnace behind it, look what happens. Alright, so we just put in this and whatever we're trying to combust. And then we need a 1 block gap. And we just place the flywheel. As you can see, you should start spinning that. Take a look. Wow. So what's happening is the furnace engine is being energized by the furnace, and then it transfers that onto the flywheel. And look at this, guys. This flywheel is generating 8,100 SU. That is incredibly high compared to the 250 we got from the water wheel. Now we can switch the furnace with a blast furnace, which actually creates double the RPM. So it's spinning faster and generating more energy. Now that we know how to generate power, here's how we transfer it. We use shafts. So this is the basics. And then we can switch to cogwheels. You can see spin and they have a certain RPM. Alright, another cogwheel and they spin in the opposite direction. This is useful because some machines require a certain direction. We also have the large cogwheel. You can see if we just place it right next to it, it doesn't work. So we go 1 block up diagonally where it fits perfectly. Now another feature is that the large cogwheel is actually slower. It is 4 RPM whereas the small one is 8 RPM. Now this can help you transfer speeds for certain machines. Alright guys, so if we take 2 shafts, join them up with a mechanical bell, we get a conveyor. And then you get this powered up, it starts moving. Now, I did kind of build a goofy contraption over here, so I'm gonna show you what we can do. As you can see, it moves my character, and it also moves blocks. So that is pretty cool. Ignore this here, I just did some random things, and if you wanted the conveyor belt to spin the opposite way, you'd use the cogs like I showed earlier. I saw this cool deployer thing, so we just gotta place it and it can touch buttons, which is pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, the conveyor was the main thing here. Alright guys, so here we have a brass funnel. So just place it behind whatever you want. And as you can see, we have a lot of things inside of here. We can make the brass funnel take out specific things. So if you give it a shaft, it only now dispenses shafts. And then the rest of the stuff stay inside. And this thing here is a chute. So we could throw anything inside. It takes it and then it drops it down. As you can see, I've made this cool contraption over here where the items go along the conveyor belt and get filtered out. So let's just make this boom, boom, boom. Now the shafts should come out. So we could use this filtration system to put things into chests and so on. And then the rest of the things can go into lava or wherever you want them to go. One of the best early game items is the mechanical press. So we're just going to feed it some energy. And here, as you can see, it pushes down. So I upgraded my factory down here and we have some mechanical presses now. So we're going to feed in some copper and zinc just for an example. And what happens here is, look, the mechanical presses push down and like crush the ingots and turn them into sheets. And sheets are a material used for crafting. Now that is epic, but we're gonna have to break them. They are pretty noisy. So the depot, we just throw in whatever we want, it gets compressed, and then we take it. And yeah, this is where you can basically compress all sorts of things. Alright guys, so the next item I'm going to be going over is the Millstone. This grinds items up, used for processing materials, making powders, flour, and all sorts of other things. So we're going to put some wheat into this one, some cobblestone into this one, and see what we get. So the wheat gave us sugar, the cobblestone gave us flint. That's interesting. Alright guys, next up we have the Encased Fan. We're just going to place it here. We're going to put the motor over here to start it up. And yeah, it pushes things out. So let's try it with the creeper. You can see he's getting pushed. And it does the same for items as well. So if we increase the RPM, its strength increases as well. Look at that. Wow. And let's just test if it works underwater. Yes guys, it does work underwater. Alright guys, another good feature is that if we put lava or fire or a campfire in front of it, it basically turns into a cooking or smelting machine. So if you put a cow here, it goes on fire. So it is kind of like a flamethrower. So we have the basin, which can basically hold a ton of items. After having the whole setup ready, what we're going to do is just place the mixer right over here. We have the cogwheel spinning it and the motor providing energy. Now what this does is make sure there's a gap in between this and the basin. We just throw in our ingredients. So here we have andesite and iron nuggets, and it goes down, begins creating the recipe. So we should get andesite alloy as so. Now guys, we have a full-on mechanical arm in this. We click once, input set, and now we're going to put the output over here. So this is the input and this is the output. Now I'm going to place the mechanical arm in the middle, and I'm just going to, we give it a block or something to move about. So here we're going to give it some cogwheels, and now I'm going to throw cogwheel over here, and it should pick it up. Hey buddy. Alright, so now that we've thrown a cogwheel, it picks it up and takes it to where we want it to be. Let's say we throw a bit of coal over here, it ignores it. And if we put a cogwheel, because that's what we set it up as, it does its job. Now the cool thing is, it doesn't just pick them up from the floor. So for example, we could have two depots and then put a cogwheel over here, and it can pick it up from the depot and move it on to the next one. Now come on guys, that is sick. Now this guy is able to pick up things from belts and also basins and a couple of other things. It is actually so useful. Now guys, over here we have the mechanical saw, and it's basically used to mine wood. You can use this for tree farms. Look at this. It mines the whole thing, so it is perfect for tree farms and stuff. Next up we have the mechanical drill. It mines blocks in front of it. You can basically use it as a tunnel bore, an auto miner, and so many other things. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at this guys. If we place a mechanical drill in a cobblestone generator, we get infinite cobblestone. So this is just one of the examples of things that you can make, and it is pretty early game and easy. Just look at that. Now I'm gonna go over their conductors real quick. So we have the shaft, the cogwheels, and the speedometer, which tells us the speed. We also have a rotation speed controller, so you can actually choose the speed. Now you can't actually make it infinite because I'm in creative, but if I was in survival, you would need to use the stress-o-meter to let you know the capacity. So how much energy you have and how much energy is required. So for example, if you had a water wheel, you could check how much energy is required for the machines. If you don't have enough, just spam some more water wheels in for energy. The clutch. The clutch, what it does is you just put a block of redstone or any redstone, and it should stop what it's doing. So you can see, and we're gonna put redstone, and it stops it from working. And yeah, it's pretty useful. The gear shift, let's do it. All right, so the gear shift rotates the angle. Now you could use cogwheels for this, but gear shift just makes it much easier. Another control block we have is the gearbox, which lets you split rotation into multiple directions. So that would be 4, and the vertical gearbox does the same thing, but vertically. Now guys, we talked about the Millstone earlier. This is just basic. The real bad boy is the crushing wheel. Now, the way the crushing wheel works is like so. You have one crushing wheel at one side, and then you have another crushing wheel like so. And they're both spinning the opposite direction. For example, cobblestone, and what it does is it absolutely crushes it. Let's just wait for it, and boom. We get gravel. Alright guys, so the brass tunnel helps split or sort items in different directions. It is pretty advanced. So guys, these watch for certain items or machines and can send a signal when it detects them. Guys, I did spend a couple hours going over this, so please like and subscribe. And maybe I'll make a part 2 of some cool builds and things you can make with this add-on. It is absolutely amazing.